Live.
Hey,
Hey, guys.
good new pal. Good to be back, man.
Yeah, another week. It's
Yeah.
been a busy one for us.
It feels like last week's podcast was literally just yesterday.
Quite amazing.
Yeah,
Sim Center, yeah. Cemair. Big vibes with lots of training going on.
it's happening, man. It's happening.
The
But-
year has gotten off to a really good start for us.
No, it has. All round, I think, man. A lot of positivity. Just a good energy and vibe about everything. The roads are busy. Aviation definitely is picking up, and I think starting a good early recovery. But we'll get more into that just now, I'm sure. But yeah,
We're going to get deep into that just now.
yeah, no, very cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
No, all good. Last week was nice. I listened to the show myself, try to pick up where we can improve in one or two places. And we got some nice downloads in Ireland.
yeah, that's impressive. Hey, I
Yeah.
mean,
So that
how
was quite
awesome
nice.
is that? Yeah,
So to all the Irish guys watching
Yeah.
us, thank you. Yeah, it was nice to get going last week, and of course now back. And we've sort of hinted at it already, but is the pandemic over?
I think so.
And who calls that it's over? And what definition is over?
The politicians, and
Well, are they the ones that are going to decide, or is it going to be a case of big business, or companies like these Emirates and that around the world? Are they the ones that decide? I'm not so sure the politicians do decide this. I suppose with the rules and regulations and all those things, it's a possibility, but
yeah, no, you've spot on. It probably has a lot to do with big business. I mean, big business has suffered enough, and nobody can afford to let this carry on any longer.
Yep.
I think even the everyday person with the boots on the ground is fed up. People in general are tired of the masks and the protocols and the procedures. It's
had enough.
yeah, we're all finished with it, man.
Yeah, I agree. But some more on that a bit later on. I just want to, at the start of the show, I want to just chat about Airspace Africa.
Derek
Derek is one of the coolest guys around. If you know Derek, you'll agree with that. And we are quite heavily using his website, Airspace Africa, and it's a real valuable source of information for us. It's the articles are written by aviators for aviators, and it obviously concentrates on the African continent. So it's really, really worth it to have a look at Airspace Africa. And thanks, Derek, for supporting us as well. These guys, it's not like a Fear 24 article with a guy that, got a ride in his microlight for his 16th birthday, and now he feels he's equipped to give
aviation advice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's some horrendous aviation articles out there, and these ones are legit. So Airspace Africa, thank you, and one of the sponsors and big supporters of the show. Just Google it or check out the show notes. It's airspace-africa.com.
Yeah, please do support Derek. He's been such a avid supporter of ours from the get-go, and what a cool guy. I mean, the first time we met him here at the Sim Center, it was kind of an ad hoc thing. He just sent us a message and say, can I pop in and see you guys?
Yeah.
And my first impression of Derek was that he was like an American footballer.
Yeah.
He's got
like a baller.
Hello, good guy. He's doing a great work, and well worthy of the support. And his content is superb. So yeah, thanks, Derek. And
he's coming on the show later on in the year as well.
Very soon, yeah.
All right, local news, Ryan. If you want to fly to Durbs, you can do now on South African Airways. 3 times daily service. That'll be from March the 4th, I think they said.
Okay.
Do you want to fly there on Spurries?
No.
Me neither.
If you do, I'm going down that way in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, let's
for a bit of a break.
It.
But I'm definitely not going to.
You're always on holiday.
Don't start. You gave me enough gears earlier. No, I'll be driving. At least I know I can go and get there on schedule. I'm pretty sure if I was with any of the other airlines,
you would get there on
I
schedule.
would get there on schedule.
But Spurries?
Nah.
Give it a skip.
Still not a fan.
Yeah, I suppose after everything, there's a lot of people that feel the same way. But nevertheless, another airline flying to Durban. I can't believe they weren't flying to. It's pretty weird that they're not flying to Durban already. I saw the article. I thought, are they not going there now?
Yeah.
If they're not going to Durbs, so the Golden Triangle route obviously means that they're not really willing to get into too much competition with the likes of Fly Safair and Airlink.
Yeah, exactly.
So
had you not mentioned it, I wouldn't have known. So yeah, thanks for the advice.
Pleasure.
I mean, but anything related to that particular flag carrier, I don't really give a continental route about.
Yeah,
so.
well, if you want to support the government carrier that's used a considerable amount of your tax-paying money already, then no, you can fly with them.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Please do such.
Let's talk about an airline that is doing good things for the South African market. Cemair have got another Q400.
Yeah, arrived this week.
Latest one, yeah. ZS Delta Hotel Juliet. So that brings it to 6.
Yeah.
And they're doing a remarkable job, expanding like you can't believe. They've got new headquarters, office headquarters.
Yeah, they're
employing.
Yeah, at a rapid rate of knots. I mean, they really are. They obviously, they've got the secret sauce, and it's awesome to see. It really is tremendous, and I'm happy for all the guys that have managed to get flying positions with them up to now. You know, it's good to see the guys back in the sky doing what they should be doing.
Yeah, they've been good for us because they're a big customer here of Cemair, but they've also, you know, even more importantly, they've taken on so many of our ex-colleagues.
Yeah,
which has been great to see. So
yeah,
keep going, Cemair, and they this expansion with them is not over.
No,
they've got a lot planned for the future, and they're a force to be reckoned with.
No, it's awesome. A good team, very tenacious, and it's going to be awesome to see all the things that happen there throughout the year.
Yeah, keep a close eye on them. It's going to be worth it. Otherwise, locally, have you heard much news from the other guys? Fly Safair, relatively quiet, not from a passenger perspective, but just from what I've seen in the news and the media. I suppose in aviation, that's a good thing. Airlink as well, still boasting new routes and best on-time performance.
Yeah,
they're doing really well.
Safair are starting up their route to Mauritius now in March, I think it is. I must actually double check on the dates, but yeah, been a lot of news about that recently.
Jumping into that sort of regional stuff.
It's cool to see them expanding along those lines.
I mean, and that's a real tourism route as well. So it's not necessarily a Lusaka and Ndola type of trip. It's a proper tourism one.
Yeah.
So it's entry into the market. They're obviously competing on that route with Kalula as well, or Cemair as well.
Yeah. So it's cool. I mean, as well as Air Mauritius, whose reliability, I suppose, is also
up there with Spurries.
Yeah. So I'd actually love to give that a try sometime.
A Mauritian trip.
Safair trip to Mauritius. You know, I don't know. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. Maybe
we can do a review.
Yeah, a Bryan Air podcast perk.
Yeah.
Nice
interview with Kirby Gordon and John Howell last week.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear what Safair have planned, marketing and plans going forward, nice podcast to listen to, actually.
Yeah, definitely. And mentioning John Howell, I would definitely pay particular attention to John's podcast because he's got
two legends.
Yeah, with some very special guests next week, Wednesday.
2 legends on the show. Yeah, looking forward to that. But in the news this week, there's a couple of morons actually that have been taking up a lot of the media chatter. So I don't know if you saw that 172 hero that took off from Wonderboom.
Yeah, the one that.
Did you read the story?
I read about it briefly. I just chuckled. I mean,
so this clown takes a 172 with fuel and 3 other passengers, and he started off the show talking about Airspace Africa and their journalism. the guys understand aviation. But man, I had to, chuckle at the journalism here from this report. It goes in here. It says the pilot said 30 minutes after taking off from Wonderboom Airport, he felt something in the aircraft and heard a noise. He checked the performance of the aircraft as well as the flight controls before deciding to land for a thorough inspection. Upon seeing no damage, he concluded he could have entered an air pocket and took off again with his 3 passengers. So where did he land? Did he go back to Wonderboom there? And okay, anyway, it goes on. And one of the passengers, a private pilot, told the investigator they descended to between 50 and 100 feet above the ground, flew over an open field, then followed a road. And while he was above the road, he flashed his landing lights at the oncoming traffic. It was during this period that the aircraft propeller severed what the passengers believed to be a power line. The private pilot said the aircraft shuddered. There was a bang and a flash of bright white light. After this, the pilot in command tested the flight controls. No anomalies were detected and all instrument parameters were normal. After landing, the pilot in command noted the damage to the propeller. He then asked the passengers that they should pin the blame on the poor student flighter who flew the plane the day before. I mean...
No, it's just ridiculous. I mean, for starters...
The poor student guy from the day before gets pinned on the blame for the bus propeller.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And for starters, when last did you use the term air pocket? I mean, what's an air pocket?
Well, I'm going to use it from now on if I stuff up.
What a numpty. And then the second thing is, how do you tell people that you've had an airplane, that you've had the responsibility of their lives? Listen, I just about nearly killed you, but don't tell anyone. Blame it on the airplane before me.
Yeah.
No.
That's a bit rough.
Yeah, I hope he gets nabbed for that. And,
well, is he being? Because
I don't know.
The article didn't really say what's happened to the pilot, but surely this was at night.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how guys get away with pulling stunts like that. Sometimes I just don't know.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
They're pretty wild. But anyway, lucky they all came out of that alive.
Yeah.
Sticking with wankers. Did you see that? I don't know how long ago this was. It might have been a while ago, but I saw it on Facebook. This guy, he's flying over somewhere in the States, over relatively sort of hilly, mountainous terrain, and he has an engine failure. And luckily, as you do, he was wearing a parachute. So he jumps out the aircraft with his sort of selfie stick, and he's capturing this sort of dive out the aircraft with about 13 different GoPro angles. Off his aircraft goes to crash into the forest somewhere, but nevertheless, this guy has been captured on his sort of selfie stick. He parachutes to the ground safely, and then hikes his way back to his aircraft, obviously to fetch his GoPros and put the mixture back in.
Yeah.
And so this was said to be an engine failure, and he jumped out the aircraft. But obviously there's a lot of people on YouTube and that have called foul here and said that doesn't quite look right to me. But this Ryan, he's got 130,000 subscribers. Yeah. So it's 129,000 more than us. But the video was in December. It was a small Taylorcraft BL64, which he said experienced an engine failure as he flew over the Los Padres National Forest in California.
No, look.
So that Trent Palmer on YouTube, he called foul there. He said that door was unlatched already.
Yeah.
You can see it in the video. He's like pumping the controls after the engine failure. Like, what are you doing?
No.
And very quick to jump out this aircraft. So I think it's being investigated, but it'll be interesting to watch.
What a knob.
If you watch that video, you just get angry.
Yeah, and look, I can't believe it. I mean, it's just ridiculous on so many levels. Either he's an incredibly bad actor, or was so overly prepared for that emergency. I mean, let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
But I mean, no.
Who wears a parachute?
Yeah.
And since when do you not try and save the aircraft? What was
No,
as
listen.
this aircraft's going into the mountain, because obviously the GoPros are still on it, they're recording this thing going down and crashes off into a hill somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this beautiful sort of riverbed that you could have landed a 777 on.
Yeah.
And would it not be worth trying to save that aircraft?
No.
And yeah, how did they teach you what? You know,
No,
put a parachute on and jump off.
No.
Then he had some theory that he was wearing the parachute over that area.
What a lot of shit.
What a clown.
It's much safer to jump out of the airplane and take selfies watching you cuck yourself.
Yeah.
While you've got a parachute strapped to your back. No, it was.
Yeah, I've just sort of
ridiculous.
redone my PPL syllabus, okay, with that instructor.
So you fresh on there.
And I'm fresh, and I'm pretty sure that the theory goes 30 degrees either side, pick a field and go and land. But yeah, I don't even want to encourage people to go and watch it because the bastard ends up getting more and more views and obviously more and more money from it.
Yeah.
While it's being investigated, but no, it just looks wrong altogether.
Who would have thought that a guy would go to those levels?
Yeah, well, it's all about attention.
No, but it's ridiculous.
It's all about attention. I mean, who can harness the most attention? And he goes and does that.
Yeah, I thought we were pushing the limits on getting attention. But
exactly. I mean, we are attention seekers every week. Yeah, that's why we do this show. But it was it's quite a funny one, actually.
Listen, talking of YouTube, if you do want to punt a YouTube channel, one that's worthy of watching, there's quite a cool guy. I came across him in December sometime. This oak's name is also Ryan. So the first clue that he's a good oak. But yeah, he's a missionary bush pilot, calls himself, and he flies this Kodiak. It's like a Australian version of a Cessna Caravan out of Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
And this guy makes videos about all his bush flying. And man, I got big respect for this guy and the type of flying he does, because it takes balls, man. To go and fly this unpressurized, look, it's a turbine engine, but in these mountains, in all kinds of weather, landing on the top of mountainsides, uphill, downhill, in mud, and he's just like, and he's making a YouTube channel while he's doing it. I'm like, you got to be like proper focused. If you're looking for a good aviation thing to watch, you must give this guy a check out and support his channel.
So it's like a real life version of Air America landing on the side of
it's cool, man. I'm actually kind of addicted. Look, a lot of the videos are sort of repetitive in a way, but the flying is actually very, very cool. I've got a lot of respect for that kind of flying.
I've got a lot of respect for a lot of the guys making the YouTube flying videos, because it's not so straightforward.
Yeah.
But cutting your engine and
trying to fly an airplane, a perfectly good airplane.
Yeah, a very nice looking aircraft. And
yeah.
Jeez, bro. Yeah, crazy.
Nuts, man.
So treading on thin ice here, but I suppose we must
again.
There was an article in the Daily Maverick about the SACAA incident, the Citation that crashed near George a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Doesn't paint the rosiest picture in the world.
Yeah.
The report on the plane crash claimed the 3 lives. That was 2 years ago. It raised a few additional questions, and the relatives of those who died in the crash are contemplating civil action against the SACAA. No surprise there. The most serious of the findings against the authority was that the aircraft was not maintained in accordance with the requirements of annual inspections. The certificate of airworthiness was thus rendered invalid. Then I saw another article come back where I think the SACAA had a response to that, and I don't think they're going to just let that one. I don't think they're going to try and cover that one up. I'm not sure if that operated on a straight Part 121. It definitely didn't. It obviously operated under a different sort of, I want to say category, not category, but
like right Part 91. Just private. They weren't carrying commercial paying passengers.
They weren't, but they're sort of being hit here with a few damning reports. So keep an eye on this one. We'll leave the citation gate document in the show notes. Have a read for yourself. Make up your own mind.
Yeah.
The one comment there, it says one of the aircraft's engines was replaced, a procedure that requires a full inspection by the SACAA Flight Inspection Unit. However, the inspection did not take place. The SACAA has grounded aircraft from SAA and other operators for similar contraventions. Like, I'm not sure any engine had anything to do with that prang, by the sounds of it. That goes into unusual attitudes and all that sort of stuff. So, but
yeah,
have a read.
Jury's open on that one. I mean, they were blasting around
And we're not
High
sitting on
terrain,
the fence,
low
but we
level.
are sitting on the fence.
And then shit.
I want to get my eye for renewal back before I go too deep into that one.
Haven't you got your license back yet?
Negative.
Oh, Suzanne, what's happening?
No, in fairness, I only my old man held me up. I had to send his forms as well at the same time.
Yeah, shame. I've told a lot of guys about Suzanne's services this week, and
she was very happy with
brilliant
last week.
Yeah. So hopefully there's a bit more business going her way, but well worth it.
Well worth it. International, should we go? We didn't really last week talk about our friends in Hong Kong.
Yeah, because I mean, what's actually happening there at the moment?
What is happening there?
I'm a bit scared about that because it's almost like
it is a scary story.
There's not much positivity coming out of that neck of the woods, bro.
No, there's not at all. It's a difficult one. Lots of South Africans there, lots of expats there, and lots of supporters of the show there as well. That this heavily affects.
Yeah.
But when you read these things, Ryan, doesn't it? I mean, okay, so Hong Kong. I initially had the story a bit sort of mixed up. Not that we mentioned it on the show, but what I was thinking, this stuff doesn't come from Cathay. Cathay are the ones that have to, comply with whatever the government there says. They're on this sort of zero COVID policy.
Yeah.
So they're trying to keep the whole of Hong Kong COVID free, which is, as we know, that simply doesn't work. Obviously, the original intention to stop the spread of the virus and become a largely virus-free city. Instead, it became a bit of a breeding ground. Where it gets dangerous, they always sort of hint there that, they still have these quarantine hotels and things like that. But when there is an outbreak, it inevitably comes back. And they always seem to mention that it was 2 crew members that brought it back from somewhere else that broke quarantine protocols and then gave it to a whole bunch of other people.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a dangerous precedent that they've started there. And from what we've heard, there's a lot of negativity towards crew members. I mean, we've actually heard stories of known pilots and cabin crew being spat on in the street.
And their family members.
And then
their children being victimized at schools and stuff because of that. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
That is bullshit.
It is.
And it's weak. Eh?
It is weak.
It is pathetic.
You took the words out of my mouth there. I was about to say, I think...
But in fairness, let's talk about this honestly. It's a hard thing to talk about because you don't want to go and offend an entire country. But it makes it appear a very weak sort of setup there.
Yeah,
I mean, a zero COVID. Their big competitor, Singapore. I mean, they've now gone and said, "Well, look, this thing is here. We must live with it."
Yeah,
and look what they're doing. I mean, the numbers on operating Cathay flights, they're at 2% of pre-pandemic passenger capacity. 2%.
How ridiculous is that?
Compared to Singapore, who only recently, wasn't that long ago, opened up, or at 47%.
Compared to the United States, okay, it's obviously on the other side of the world, where things are basically at 64% of where they were 29%.
Yeah.
2019, sorry. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, the article goes, Hong Kong pursuing the zero COVID policy strategy imposed tighter crew isolation as 2 Cathay crew members broke self-isolation measures and sparked a COVID-19 outbreak in the city.
No, man.
Man.
No, the narrative there is just...
they haven't painted themselves in a positive light there.
No.
Eh?
Not at all.
It
doesn't make you want to go and book a holiday.
It doesn't.
On that side of the
world. It actually makes me never want to fly with those oaks again.
No.
But you do, because our mates are flying there and you want to support the airline.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's like a bit of a catch-22. It's the government that is causing the chaos. It's not Cathay.
No, exactly.
Fair?
No, absolutely fair. Absolutely fair.
But
the airlines, as we've said all along, have been the victims of this.
But particularly there, I mean, it's horrendous.
Yeah, shame, man.
They've cut their losses quite significantly, not that bad, but it's still a major loss. But it's heavy. You see a lot of the guys on LinkedIn and a lot of the posts that the guys are posting, they always by themselves, and I don't know if that's because they're only, that not many mates and that around willing to go out, but the guys seem just a little bit lonely at the moment. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to comment on.
It is. It is. I mean,
but fuck you if you spit on another pilot.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
Don't reduce yourself to that, honestly.
Yeah.
Right?
No, but come on. I mean,
why?
Yeah. The bunch of bloody whatever. Yeah. Okay, a cool one, yeah. Not so cool if you're a fat chick, but Air India's new policy for cabin crew. All right, so Air India prepares for its takeover by new parent company Tata Group that goes on, and the carrier is setting itself back about 50 years as it looks to control the weight and BMI of its cabin crew.
Oh, shit.
Have you checked that?
No.
It's not quite the time to be imposing those sorts of things. But so if you are a bit overweight and you're looking at being cabin crew there, you're going to have to lose a couple of pounds.
You're just going to be opening yourself up.
They've refused the whole thing, though. They say this never happened, but this obviously snuck out and someone posted it and whatnot.
Jeez.
Yeah, I assume it's not just for girls. It's obviously for the guys as well. So, Ryan, you can't be cabin crew.
No, I never qualify. Jeez, damn it. And I was pinning my hopes on if this doesn't work out, I was going to go and apply to SpiceJet as a hostie.
Hey?
No.
No, jeez.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, shame. So, but that, in this day and age, it's stuff like that is just simply not right again.
Yeah, I mean, what happened to that's ballsy, actually. In a world now where everybody's sensitive to all the LBGTQs, everything, and they can pull out a thing like that.
No, it's crazy.
Can't fly if you are fat.
No, it's just wrong. Scoot is flying to Australia's Gold Coast again, 3 times weekly flights. So that's Singapore ramping things up. That's great. I want to get into our main story, though, Ryan. Our story of the week. So a couple of sources have spoken to me, and I've heard it from a couple of different people. And this is extremely, extremely exciting, I think, not just for aviation, but for the entire world, in fact. Emirates have started to try to get some of their guys back that they let go during the pandemic. They've started interviews, and that's a bit of an ongoing process. There was a bit of a threat that they were going to start on new packages. Those contracts were not nearly as good as what they
previously were,
were, but it looks like the guys are going back on their original packages, which is really great news. On top of that, the guys that are there at the moment actually got a bonus last week. So they got a full bonus. Normally it's done on a sort of what do they call it, profit share agreement. You get paid 2 weeks or 5 weeks, whatever it is, but they got paid a full bonus. So it's a full 4 week, 1 month, and it's not a profit share. It's a straight out bonus, because normally the profit share will be done at the end of the financial year. So they got a full bonus there. And take it as you want. I know the guys are flying hard at the moment, so maybe they thought, well, it's worthwhile, handing out the bonus, try and keep the guys there. However, this interview process with some of the old guys, they expect to have most of those old guys back sort of mid-year. Okay.
Unbelievable.
And they've opened up a pool to start interviewing external guys to possibly take them on in the next bit of training.
How ridiculous is that?
Yeah. How amazing! Well, how amazing is that? I mean,
it's ridiculously amazing that is happening now already.
Right now.
Okay.
And on top of that, some of the benefits that were taken away, sort of crew travel and things like that, have been not crew travel, sorry, friends traveling, have been brought back into the picture. So they're adding some perks back.
Yes.
So I want to ask the question: is it now that they are positioning themselves to be one of the preferred employers? I mean, we're talking about what happened in Hong Kong and the rest. And I'm sure a lot of people that were interested in going to Cathay are seriously rethinking things like that. And are Emirates now, trying to position themselves to be one of the preferred employers around the world and encourage the top pilots and the best of the bunch to go there rather than try somewhere else? Because we've trained here at Cemair quite a few of the Emirates guys that had to go off and fly for their local carriers, at home bases. And I must be honest, there were very few, in fact, there were none, where I heard any negative talk about their previous employer, even after being let go. No one came and said, "Oh no, I'm never going back. I'm starting a new life." Everyone it was a great place to work. We loved it. We worked hard, but if we never got let go, we'd still be there.
Yeah. They worked hard, but they were well rewarded for their work. No, I just think it's amazing, pal. Really, it's the best news that could be getting into the industry right now. Emirates always was one of those airlines that basically held themselves as the, what do you want to say? How do you say it? The preferred employer. And they were setting the standards. Everybody was benchmarking. Well, that's where I want to go. How many of our friends, colleagues, had CVs or lines in the water there prior to this whole thing happening? So, man, it's amazing. I'm so happy, first of all, for all our friends that were there that got let go, that probably be going back.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's an opportunity for guys to apply there now to get in.
So
it's fucking amazing.
It's brilliant. and this is a big thing, because if you are at home twiddling your thumbs and whatnot, is there not a better time now to dust off the books and get your mind and get yourself back into
flying mode?
Because it might be the opportunity that you've been waiting for the last a few years, because it's a major thing. I mean, these guys that were here that spoke to me about it the other day, they are so excited to go back. When I said, "Are you going to go back?" they said, "No, absolutely. It's not even a question. They will go back tomorrow." And it's a really nice thing to see. And and this is it. It's done.
It's just phenomenal. It's amazing.
Think about the movement that it creates. I mean, locally here in South Africa, how many guys are that have existing jobs are going to apply for those jobs? It creates the movement that is needed to get things back going again.
It's definitely going to do that. We commented last week on the fact that should the US open themselves up to accepting South African licensed pilots, that itself would create a vacuum of note. But this is just going to start that and the whole process all over again. You know? So our airlines are probably going to find themselves probably losing a lot of experienced pilots, and it's going to just create that whole thing from the bottom up all over again. It's actually fantastic.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty big news.
What a way to start off the new year.
An incredible way to start on the new year.
Like getting, jumping off of a platform from positivity. But I mean, that kind of news so early on is actually fantastic.
So guys, CVs, licenses, medicals, your own fitness, body and mind, do a bit of reading and get yourself ready, because
things might be happening.
Well, things are happening.
Yeah.
These guys they've had the interviews. They are going back. It is happening.
I just want to touch on something, because I see the comments coming in here, and old Leon is not letting the punches down. He's giving me gas already. Ryan hinting at discounts again. And you mentioned something earlier about friends tickets on Emirates.
Mm-hmm.
There's another gate for me to hint at more discounts.
Ryan's discount. Yeah.
Thanks, Leon.
Don't give Ryan a chance to get a discount. But good news.
Awesome, man. It's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Love it.
And let's watch this very, very closely. But the guys have got to be ready and take the opportunity. So even the guys maybe in a part of the world that they really don't want to be in, that are rated on type and stuff like that, would they consider a move across to the Middle East? I'm sure at this stage they would.
We actually know of someone who made that move just recently. Mm-hmm. They were at an Asian carrier, just been type rated on a 787, I think, and then got recalled back for the 777 at Emirates.
Exactly.
So that's already happening.
Yeah.
And it
No
was like
brainer.
a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know? So it's cool. Worldwide, I think it's gonna spark a whole lot of movement. Mark Thompson agrees the vacuum is coming. So
no, everyone there. Yeah, no,
very,
great to see.
very cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I suppose other than wishing everyone
happy studying.
Yeah. Well, I've got an advisory that might help with that actually. I told you about it earlier in the week.
Yeah.
A note-taking app called Notability. If you've got an iPad, Ryan will agree with me. It's a fantastic app actually. It's one that sort of relies a little bit on having an Apple Pencil. But here in the classroom these days, if you're doing a presentation, normally you've got these PowerPoint things. And, how annoying is it if you get into a meeting or you're in a classroom and the PowerPoint presentation's on the board and it's one of those that you click, and then, every time you click, there's a new arrow, and then you click again and it shows a wheel, and then you
old school.
Yeah, it's like very old, and it's like, and all you sitting in the class, you just can't wait before you click again, and it actually goes to a new slide altogether.
Yeah.
So I've seen, not much can replace the good old-fashioned whiteboard. I still like it if instructed as a proper whiteboard sort of lecture.
Yeah.
Draw the runway, or a wing, whatever it is, and kind of explain it on a whiteboard. Well, a lot of these facilities these days have nice big flat screen TVs in all the briefing rooms and all the classrooms. And obviously you can connect your iPhone or iPad preferably to that smart TV. And then with your Apple Pencil, particularly on this app, you can actually draw quite nicely. You can choose a template, make it whatever color you want. You can bring things from the web onto the actual thing that you're drawing. And it's a really, really good app. What's nice, if you're in a meeting or you are doing a bit of work and you want to send a friend or colleague or a bit of the information that you've jotted down, you just basically click the top left. It gives you the option to send a link, which is it's a live link, so you can keep updating that link. So once you got the link, you can actually see what I'm doing on the actual app, and it's really, really nice. I'm using it in the classroom. Yeah, I'm using it for taking our daily notes and whatnot, and I find it quite superb actually. So Notability, it's relatively cheap. I think it's like $170 for a year.
Yeah, it's
really cheap. You need an Apple Pencil, which costs about 3 million ZAR, but it's well worth it actually. It's actually my best find yet from an app perspective.
Look, I definitely couldn't agree more. You told me about it the other day, and I was buggering around a bit last night, and I tried it, and man, I was like, why haven't I found this sooner? It's a fantastic app. I mean, with all the stuff that I'm trying to get through, it works well. And definitely one of the more affordable apps that you've recommended so far, because there's been a few that I've checked out in the past. I was like, forget about the price of the Apple Pencil. This app itself would cost an arm and a fortune.
What is that app that you're talking about specifically? And why did you look at that app, Ron?
I'm not opening myself up to that with you.
The one app that I recommended, the Grammarly app, is...
Turns out I actually need it.
Yeah, Ryan needs it more than anyone I know, but he's unwilling to pay the 400 Rand a month fee, which I understand.
Yeah,
because you've got a mate that has the app. So whenever you need something written,
I'll just send it to you.
It gets sent to me, and then I correct all the grammar and spelling and commas and all the rest.
And if Brian's not available to correct my grammar through Grammarly, you must just please forgive me for my delicious English, and I'll blame it on being married to an Afrikaans chick.
Exactly. No. But Notability, very, very cool. Try it out. It's really nice, and it's nice to write on the iPad actually. Very cool. Awesome. You had a bit of a review for a podcast.
Yes, this week's podcast review. I actually quite enjoy this little task of mine that because I'm so deep into all these different podcasts now. But this week's podcast review is about the High Performance Podcast with hosts Damien and Jake. Man, they just released their 100th episode last week. which is like we know is quite an achievement. It's a big thing for the guys. So congratulations to the two of them on that. But their guest was none other than Bear Grylls.
Okay.
And you've got to listen to that podcast because Bear Grylls, I've been a big fan of his ever since he came out on TV. Watching him do all those mile things through the mountains, surviving in pretty harsh conditions. Got mucho respect for that. But as a person, he's such a good egg. And the interview with him was just brilliant.
Yeah.
You got to listen to it because there's a lot of, I think, good valued stuff in there. So that's my podcast review for the week. The 100th episode of the High Performance Podcast with Damien and Jake, and they interview Bear Grylls. You got to listen to it.
So what you're looking for in a podcast is not value for money, but value for time.
Well,
you made the comment earlier, the only time you get a chance to listen to a podcast is actually in the car.
Yeah.
My dad made a comment to me. He says, "No, I love your podcast, but I just got no time to listen to it." And then he says, "Geez, you won't believe what Sasha Martinengo said on the radio." I said, "Yeah, okay. Generational thing there."
It is.
But,
people are too used to the radios.
Yeah. The radios, some of the, like Sasha Martinengo is still good. And
look, Bonnie Simon, all those good acts. No,
staying with,
Sorry, just a caveat to that quickly. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a podcast review and I'm advocating it, highly recommended it, but only after you've listened to the Bryan Air podcast.
That's it.
Then go for that one.
Then go for it. Yeah. I enjoy that Our Performance podcast.
Excellent.
Jake and Damien are great.
Yeah,
it must be the top one in the UK.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, next to us.
There's another big podcast that was doing the rounds yesterday. Obviously, Jordan Peterson's on a bit of a tour, and he spoke with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
So I've listened to that for about 3.5 hours, and I've still got an hour to go.
It's crazy.
So it's a bit of a long one, and it goes very, very deep. And you made the comment earlier, actually, Jordan Peterson, I've read a few of his books, and they're very fluid in the way you read those books. They're really, really brilliant. I mean, this Beyond Order. So he had Maps of Meaning first, which is a hell of a long book to read. That's like a year sort of process, because you're not going to read that in one lump sum. He took 15 years to write that book, and he reckons he redid every sentence about 50 times to get it perfect. No, it's a heavy book
what
to read.
What was that whole comment or mantra about the pursuit of perfection?
Yeah, exactly.
Yada. Yeah.
I'm not going to try and redo it because I'll stuff it up. But it was a really, really good book. And then 12 Rules for Life came out, which was not dumbed down, but it was much easier to read. And now the latest one, Beyond Order, is really, really good. But you made the comment, he's not the easiest to listen to.
Yeah. I've listened to him when he's been a guest on a few other shows. Quite a lot.
He's very emotional as well.
Incredibly emotional. Look, which is cool because
like us.
Yeah. He's not scared. He's not scared to show his vulnerability.
No, it's not.
And I suppose it's cool because it, like, for someone who's got his what's the word for it? Jeez, I need Grammarly now.
You see, it's worth it for $100 now.
But if someone of his sort of stature was the word I was looking for. Yeah, I mean, he lets it all out, and it's good. You get a lot of good value out of it, but you gotta. It takes time to listen to those shows and digest what he's actually getting at. It's probably what I'm trying to allude to.
No, you're right though. However, he made one comment on the podcast with Joe Rogan about persona. Yeah. So what happens often in a podcast, especially when you're being interviewed, sometimes these podcasts don't go particularly well, is because you try and talk as your persona, or you answer a question as your persona rather than yourself. So what Jordan Peterson said was that's why Joe Rogan has been so successful, is because he's incredibly knowledgeable, but he speaks as Joe Rogan.
He's just being himself.
So I thought about that with our show and also us trying to create a persona to talk and stuff. And that is 100% the truth. I mean, it takes a bit of, fire me up fuel sometimes to get going. But I'm going to try quite hard to not speak as if it's my sort of persona talking, and rather try and talk as I would to you now as if we weren't on air.
Okay.
That's my theory with it. I don't know if it's going to work, and I hope it hasn't.
Because it'd be cooler if you were a bit more you than just being
like
you.
acting. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. No,
but I hope we didn't go over the line, because the Duncan said you guys are brave, so I don't think we said anything too dodgy.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll find out later, we'll fix it up tomorrow after the shutdown checklist.
But, let's talk about shutdown checklist. What is that, Ryan?
So we have we've given ourselves the opportunity after every show to go and sleep on it, maybe listen to the show overnight, and then come back the next morning and sort of review ourselves. So, like, what did you actually think about that show? So we add that on. We come in and record it on a Friday morning early and say, listen, so how was yesterday for you?
Yeah, because obviously this is live now. We don't have much. There's no editing. Whatever goes out goes out.
Yeah, and it's actually very cool, because we tried it last week for the first time, and we found that it was actually brilliant. It was such a good value add, particularly to the audio version of the podcast, because that's where
we're punting the audio version, guys. So we really appreciate everyone watching the live version. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
the guys that support us live have been an integral part of the show, the direction it goes, and all the rest. But it's the audio version that lately, I would say in the last 6 months, that has really gained a lot of traction.
Yeah,
the downloads have been really good, and we can see that it's the audio version for us that is going to be the one that we are sort of backing. But so shutdown checklist, we're going to think about things overnight and do a bit of a review early in the morning on Friday. The show goes out on a Friday afternoon. So the show always used to go out on a Friday as a video and the audio. Obviously the video live now on a Thursday, but then the audio will go out live sort of Friday, sort of early afternoon.
Yeah,
with that little bit extra at the end.
Yeah, which is cool, because that's the one you want to listen to while you're commuting to and from work, or running on a treadmill, or whatever the case may be. And then
maybe we can address the things that we
might have slipped
got
up
wrong, sworn too much, or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's usually an apology in there. But you mentioned something now about the loyal supporters every week that are watching, and it's always the same names. And I'd actually like to take the opportunity to just give a shout out to Marcel Smith, Janet Klutti, Lesotho's Pride, Leon Fayoun, Jason Northwood, Andrew Evans, Lawrence Bettersworth, Mark Thompson, always the same guys that are watching and participating in the show. It's awesome to have you guys support us, and thanks for commenting and being a part of the show. And Marcel asked there earlier, what about BA? I think that's what we were talking about, the local airlines. Well, BA is a part of Cemair, so one and the same. So yeah, we
who flies to Mauritius? The BA brand.
I'm actually not sure.
I'm sure it must be the
BA brand, but yeah, could be them.
Ian Findley as well. Good afternoon, team. Bryan Air. Thanks, Ian. And other big mates.
Yeah,
Ace.
Hey, old Ace, legend supporter.
Yeah.
When Ace eventually gets back to South Africa, we need to have a beer or 10 with Ace.
Yeah, I agree. But I also sense a bit of excitement from the guys. Mark definitely being one of them, that things might be opening up, and a bit of an opportunity there on the horizon. Yeah. We really believe it's happening. Yeah. You can judge it by what we see in the bookings for training, the requests for ratings and flying, and even the requests for guys just getting back on the back into the zone, so to speak, with getting their minds back in flying mode.
Yeah,
which is a big thing.
Even the charter industry is starting to turn again. Unique have been commenting, saying like, listen, the interest in the bookings, it's there, it's peaking, and there's a bit of stress on our side, because like who's going to handle the work when Bambino comes, and it's actually quite
it's a good
cool.
Stress to have.
It's great.
So we believe the turn is coming.
Yes,
and well deserved. And maybe, just maybe, the aviation industry plays a vital role in the ending of the pandemic.
I think it will.
Maybe not in Hong Kong, but everywhere else.
Yeah.
And everyone, thank you for joining us. Ryan,
Yeah.
I don't know if you got anything else.
No, Andrew said, Asa says, definitely good news today is reducing quarantine in Hong Kong to a week. Hopefully a good start for them as well. So, for the information there. But yeah, from my side,
Well, that's good.
today was a positive show.
Maybe they were
Flippin' rad.
listening live and decided, hey, we better make a change there.
Magic.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And yeah, listen to that audio version. Let us know what you think. You might prefer it, use it, listen in the car, connect it to your Bluetooth, and well worth it. Until next week, from my side and my good mate over here, Ryan. Cheers for now.
Can't wait, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.